Hello, come on in. What the story say? Pull up a seat and sit down. This month is the month people celebrate mothers, and I've been thinking I will do the same on the show. So I'm going to tell you stories about mothers and mothering. Caution, I have birthed no one. I didn't give birth to a single human. So all these stories I'm going to tell you are based on my experience as a child of a mother, observing other people's mothers, telling you what people have told me about their mothers and grandmothers, and such. So let's get with it. So I'm going to do 3 or 4 episodes at this one sitting. And the reason I do this is because I don't always find the time to get in front of this camera, so bear with me. All right, I've been thinking recently about the immortal mothers. Immortal mothers. Immortal means not to die. You can't die. And are mothers immortal? Now, I've been having this conversation with my friend, Dr. Jillian Richards-Graves. And she and I were perusing this topic and trying to tease out what it means to have an immortal mother. And how do mothers become immortal? And can mothers become immortal? So let me talk story. When I delivered my grandmother up the front, we had a neighbor named Cousin Rita. They used to call her Stata. Children used to call her Stata. She was a short, rotund woman. A lot of hips and a lot of bamsy. A lot of before and after. And she got a slight bow foot. Very motherly. And she had a number of children, quite a few. Probably more than 8. I can't be sure. The younger ones and I were friends, but the older ones, they were a lot bigger. They were grown people. So one day, at the house, Cousin Rita's children came to visit. She had some older ones and they were living in Linden, some 80-something miles away. I don't remember what the kids' names were, but the girl and the boy, they came. And when they came that day, Cousin Rita was in the market as usual. And maybe it's a Saturday. And so they came and the house was locked and they sat outside and waited for her. Well, she coming along, and this lady used to raise guinea birds. And let me tell you, when you see guinea bird chase you, it's worse than dog chase you. But when she come in, the guinea birds just run out to beat her. So the guinea birds started to make a whole lot of noise, so they knew she was coming. And as usual, she ambling in the yard with a basket on her head and she coming in. And when she come in this time say, "But mommy, oh, where you been?" She said, "Me been a market." I said, "How you can be in a market? We come for see you." She said, "Mommy, what you do this for?" Well, hear the story now. Cousin Rita take pan herself and write one telegram and send them for she picnic them a Linden. Well, if y'all don't know about telegram, those young people of nowadays time, nowadays y'all got Facebook and social media. Back then they get a thing named telegram. You got to go to the post office and send this thing and I'm gonna wire this message to up different parts of the country and around the world. So when people get telegram, it's never a good thing. First of all, people always associate telegram with bad news, because if a telegram, sometimes it's dead news, as they say, dead message. So here is how it does go. If you get a telegram and the post by bring the telegram, you just call your neighbor, "Neighbor so-and-so, take a telegram from a man for me." You don't want to read them yourself? You ask your neighbor for read the telegram. Meanwhile, you run down the toilet because your bowel's loose. Me Auntie Sibyl, nagishi telegram tal. Since you see a flesh, you gonna toilet. That's how it used to go. So she stated, write one telegram, tell she picnic them, oh, she sick bad. Now when them hear she sick bad, then think she dead and dead. Dead and dead is a term we just use for almost dead. And when you're almost dead, then they say you're traveling. Hey. So them they now think this woman dead and dead, and then come down from lane, then post haste. When they come, she not the home. So they vex now. So when she come in the yard, they say, "Stata, is what happened, what you doing?" She said, I don't want me one for see you. Me want to see you, why you not come see me? I tell this story because it made me think that sometimes children think their mothers are immortal, that their mothers will always be there. And some women resort to these tactics, like Cousin Henrietta, for send the telegram, which you know will make them bowels loose and make their heart stir. Sometimes I wonder what it takes for people to enact this type of practice that give rise to the thought that mothers are immortal. Is your mother immortal? My friend told me a story about a man. You know, he living his life. And, you know, he was hustling a young thing and he was, you know, trying to pursue the woman, and he was thinking, you know, he can go and see more and take care of her. And time passed and he was still trying to set up his life, his love life and so on. Eventually he got married and so on. When he was ready to go and look after his mother, she was already gone. He lived with such regret. It also made me think about the immigrant story. We as immigrants, we go to other parts of the world to live and to experience life. And let us say a family leaves from Guyana and goes to New York to live, and maybe the mother is left at home. And they're hoping that they're going to make good with their lives. They're going to have a good job, make money, and they can send money back to their parents or their mom, and to make her happy because she poured so much into them. But truth be told is that lots of times when immigrants meet to places like New York, even though they're well qualified at home, they have to start from scratch. I mean, from scratch, they have to start life over. Sometimes they were in great positions, you know, prestigious positions. They have degrees, but they're starting at the bottom, living in basements. They're doing menial jobs. And they're happy to do it, and they're hoping that they would get back to their moms. And moms are home telling the stories of their children. Great guy, great girl, they raise them well, and they have expectations of their children. But what they don't realize that these children are encountering life in such, you know, profound ways that they can't even afford the airfare to go back to see their moms. Sometimes they can't even afford to send the big luxuries like others are doing. And so they put off that, you know, going back to see their mom or to take care of them in ways that they would have liked to. And so things happen. And there are other people who just think that, well, their mom will always be there. They talk to them every day. They talk to their moms. They have a rapport. And it never occurs to them that there's a time limit on their parents. Now let me switch this up a little bit. Thinking about this immortal mother. When I think of motherhood, like how we're having this month of May as to celebrate mothers, in a way we're immortalizing mothers. And when I tell stories of mothers, I am in a way contributing to that notion of the immortal mother. Because when we tell our stories and we call the names of these women, we make them live on. And so I would encourage you this month to help your parents to live on. In what ways have you experienced the negative aspects of the immortal mother or the positive aspects of the immortal mother? Let's talk about that. And coming up, I'm going to tell you another story about how women in my village have operated and in ways in which I want to celebrate them. So stay tuned. Next Sunday, let's talk about mothers.